So, today we are going to be learning how to find credible sources that provide us with trustworthy, real, and accurate information that we can use for our civil rights research. So, when we begin researching a historical topic related to the civil rights movement, such as Martin Luther King Jr., for example, we have to make sure that the information we are using is accurate, it's real, and is trustworthy information. And that's where the information literacy helps us become better researchers and thinkers of our work. Research always begins with a researchable question, a question that we can find information on. So, for today's example, we are going to use Martin Luther King Jr. because he was a big civil rights activist, and we want to find out his contribution to the civil rights movement. Good research involves finding multiple sources, not just one, but more than one. And we can do this by looking in books. We can use databases such as Galileo. We can use educational websites. And we always want to compare the information from at least two sources to make sure that the information is correct and accurate. One thing about finding sources is that we have to know which sources we can trust and that are giving us real information that is true. So, some different sources that are going to give us trustworthy information are school databases such as Galileo. Another good hint is that the authors are listed so we know where the information came from. And then the facts are supported by evidence. So, meaning that has been proven to happen through multiple sources. Some things that we would not trust are personal blogs. If there's no authors listed and there's no sources that have been cited, I want to ask myself, who created this? Is the author trustworthy? Does the source provide facts and evidence? Reliable sources usually tell us who the author is and where the information came from. And one thing that I like to rely on is that if it is from a website, usually websites that end in .edu and .gov are safe, trustworthy sites. Since we are talking about history, it's important to take in account information from different perspectives. So, when looking at multiple viewpoints from people, that helps us understand what happened even better. So, for example, historical accounts, real speeches, interviews, real photographs, and articles will help us dive into that information to learn it. When you begin looking at the information and selecting your sources, it's a good thing to question what you are reading. Before putting that information into your project or into your paper, take a moment to check to see if it is accurate and reliable. So the first step is we are on the Galileo website. We signed in using our username and password. I'm going to search our keywords, which is Martin Luther King Jr., and we're going to see what comes up when we search it. So as you can see, several sources popped up for here, and you can scroll down to find, which one suits your project and research the best. But it kind of gives you a summary here. It gives you the author, which is a good tip. Remember that it is a reliable, credible source. So these are just different things that you can use to search. And even if you want to go up here and add civil rights movement to the search, that will even narrow it down even more to your specific research. And tons of different sources come up. And most of these that are on Galileo are credible, reliable sources to use. This is also another reliable source that students can use for their research project on the civil rights movement. Library of Congress provides real historical documents, pictures, and gives trustworthy information created by experts who preserve history. So, to wrap all this information up, I want you to remember these 3 steps. Use a variety of sources, consider multiple perspectives, and always check for accuracy. When researching the civil rights movement, real, trustworthy information helps us to better understand the people and events that changed history. By using the multiple sources and carefully looking at the information that has been presented to us and using that research, we become stronger learners and more informed citizens of what has gone on in history.